Good morning and thanks for joining us on the Thursday edition of TVC Breakfast. I am Veronica Dan Ikboy. I'm not here alone. I have Kemi Fola Adeyemo. Kemi, it was a rainy Thursday this morning, although the rain had subsided before we all got out, but then we still felt the impact.
The rains even came on, at least before I turned in for the night. The rains had started falling and gradually the speed picked up, winds intensified. So I think I missed most of it, but woke up to the chills. But a really pleasant morning to you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, let's just quickly touch on some developing issues that some find interesting. One of it is the outgoing Minister of State for Labour and Employment, talking about Festus Keyamo, senior advocate, saying that the portfolio of Minister of State is an aberration to the law, so to speak. And he made some statements with regards to that you cannot actually monitor some of the achievements of Minister of State and all of that, and that some of the Minister of State have been grumbling, but they couldn't find their voice, but he was able to find his voice at the valedictory session of the Federal Executive Council yesterday for the administration of President Muhammadu Buhari. And one thing that came to my own mind, right, is why did you not speak when the portfolio was being given to you to say that, this is actually not constitutional, so I cannot accept this portfolio. Thank you, Mr. President, for finding me worthy, but I cannot accept it because it's an aberration to the Constitution. That is my own perspective now.
Well, your position is interesting. It's interesting, however, but what the minister said is also interesting. That I don't know how far it will go anyway. But when you look at when you weigh the pros and the cons, the disadvantages and advantages, implications, he really has thrown up a very interesting point. And,
absolutely.
And him, of course, like you said, being the Minister of State,
being a senior advocate that understands the law. That is where my position is coming
and
from.
that was where he stood. That was
but
the place
at the end of your term, no, you should have said it at the beginning.
Right. No. Of course, I take your point absolutely. But in his own case, he says, fine, it kind of worked in his own portfolio because the labor and productivity title that he got, sharing with the senior minister, that's Dr. Chris Ngige. The Dr. Ngige managed labor and productivity while he manned productivity or employment. He says he manned employment, so it kind of worked. Now he's suggesting, like, for the portfolios of Ministry of Works, Power and Housing, he's suggesting that why don't we have a Minister of Works? Why don't we have a Minister of Housing? Why don't we have a Minister of, as a break it down? Because really the Minister of State, according to him, are subservient, so to speak, to the senior minister. The bureaucracy would demand, according to him, that the civil servants in that ministry will pan directly to the minister, the primary minister, as against. And so there's really it's really like a lame dog situation. Is what you give me that I do, just like the position of a vice president. But the way he made it sound,
it's
really,
a good argument.
It's a good argument. And if you follow, the issue of cost of governance, which he also addressed, he said, talking about the cost of governance, at the end of the day, the minister gets all the perks of that office. The Minister of State also gets the perks of that office. So only that one doesn't seem to do as much as the other. At least going by. And from somebody who is an insider, he should know better. So that's why I think that I agree that his argument shouldn't be thrown away.
I believe that.
Entirely.
No. I'm not saying we should throw it away.
Of course, I'm not even saying that that's what you are implying. But I take the point that why now? Why now? That is also an interesting observation. Yes, that is actually very
well. I
legitimate.
guess what he is trying to achieve is to set an agenda for the incoming administration, because this administration is already counting hours now.
But they appear to still be busy.
Of course, they have been asked to keep being busy until when their time is over. But then setting an agenda for the incoming administration is a good one, and we hope to see how they will address that, if they will take his points. Because, like you mentioned, the cost of governance that he touched on is something that a lot of Nigerians have been speaking about because of our debt burden. True. And the president-elect has already said that he's going to make tough decisions. So perhaps this might be one of them.
And coming from a Festus Keyamo, who got a strategic position in the Presidential Campaign Council, who knows, it may not be entirely this countenance. Maybe he's speaking from a place of knowledge.
All right, right.